All right, we are underway. Okay. All right, if you're I turned the little stop camera thing on, so if you go off, you'll know why. Hey Janice, welcome. Guys, welcome to the Thursday call. I'm going to do a couple things tonight on the call. I'm going to be doing the call tonight all by myself. I'm going to talk a couple things about some upcoming events that are coming. I'm going to go over chapter 2 of this book that I've been kind of sharing with you guys a little bit about real leadership. And guys, I'm excited to do this call. I've been really just 2017 has started off a year of personal development. And so I'm just real excited that tonight I get to share that piece with you guys. And a lot of you guys have saw that Dr. John Maxwell is going to be speaking at our global convention. Let me just tell you something. He had a network marketing event back in, I forget, maybe Chris remembers. I can't kind of remember when it was, but Fred Graves was involved, Tim and Sarah Cox. It was up in Atlanta. But Dr. John Maxwell is a world-renowned speaker, pastor. He's pastored churches. He's mentored thousands and thousands. Guys, these books that you see here, I've probably read 90% of them. I'm getting ready to take a course that starts on the 17th, which is next week. Actually, I just was talking about it, and I looked and I had an email from them. So I am actually taking the course, The 15 Laws of Growth, which is starting next week. You guys can still sign up for that on his website at johnmaxwell.com. It's very inexpensive. I'm excited about it. I'm always excited about a lot of things, but I'm excited about taking that course. I will tell you guys one of the books that I see on here is John's book, 360 Degree Leader. I bought the CDs for it. It was phenomenal. I'll tell you why I bought it. Ohio State's former football coach, Jim Tressel, bought it for his team in 2002, which was, hey, Kurt, the year that they won the national championship. And what he did was he made all of his team read this book. And so I bought the audio version of it. And guys, it literally changed my life. I was young back then. I still think I'm young, but I'm getting older. But I popped some of the quotes up here with him. Leaders must be close enough to relate to others, but far enough ahead to motivate them. A man must be big enough to admit his mistakes, smart enough to profit from them, and strong enough to correct them. The greatest mistake, the greatest mistake we make is living in constant fear that we will make one. Wow. And what I really like about John's, John's books have been around for almost 40 years. And I have been able to read, as I told you guys, many of his books. So if you have not had a chance to read some of them, and if you have not registered for convention, we're only having it every 18 months. A lot of you know I'm just a believer that you should never miss an event. Lisa and I have never missed an event. I was talking about you guys. A lot of you guys know I'm coaching this year, and I'm going to miss Wednesday. But I'm flying out on a red-eye early morning flight on Thursday so that I can get there, and I'll miss the science seminar, but Lisa's going. But we get to hear John Maxwell on Thursday. And so you guys get to hear one of the greatest speakers that I think there is, that you guys will ever be a part of. It's just, I was I remember hearing Fred talk about his experience with John, and it was kind of funny. The elite distributors got a little profile of who they would really want to hear speak at a LifeVantage event, and I thought, this will never happen. And I wrote down John Maxwell. And here we are. John is speaking in front of his first ever network marketing company, and it's LifeVantage. So I did want to go over just a couple things that were announced this week. And I'm going to pull those up for me. Let me get to that right now. I'm going to pull these up for you guys. There were some really good things that have been offered at this last. I'm trying to, you guys. I'm losing where I'm at here. Hold on one second, you guys. Okay, forgive me. I lost this. I haven't been on this computer. I've been using Lisa's computer, so I'm a little bit lost with it right now, but just let me get going here. Okay. All right. So, hey, Chris, can you see this really good? Can you see the screen? Somebody?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
You can see where I'm at now?
Yes,
Okay, good.
Yes, we can see it loud and clear.
Okay, good. Okay, so they have offered some incentives for the beginning of this year for 2017. Qualification periods are January 9th through March the 31st. A lot of you guys don't know about these. Earn a LifeVantage branded Fitbit for doing this during that time frame. 5 new gold or platinum packs, okay? Or new preferred customer voluming $5,000. Then if you do 11 new gold or platinum packs or $11,000 in volume in that time frame, you get an Apple Watch. And then the top 2 enrollers within each of those participating markets, United States, I see Susanna's on, Canada, Australia, some of the UK people, I've already shared this with them, and Mexico. Guys, this is huge. And then if you look, if you earn Pro 3, if you've already advanced to Pro 3 and have not been paid as a Pro 3 for the last 6 months, you're still eligible. You get an extra $500. If you rank advanced to Pro 5, with a lot of people on this call hope to do before convention, you will get paid an extra $1,000. There's a lot of people that should be super, super, super excited about that. So if you guys go to lifevantage.com, at the very bottom, this is there along with the Hawaii incentive. We've had some people in our group already qualify for that Hawaii incentive. I can tell you that the beginning of the year has started off very good. And so I'm grateful that you guys are tying into these calls because the feedback has been great. So let me move on and let me talk a little bit about, hey, Lori, let me talk a little bit about what I'm going to share with you guys and what I've shared with a little bit last week from this new book that I've been reading, which you guys can see on, it's called Real Leadership by John Addison. So I'm going to start tonight with chapter 2. Can you guys see that okay? Thumbs up.
Yes, that's good.
Okay, thanks, Mike. So what I really like about this, and I talked about this before some of us going to call it, that my favorite person at the GoPro event in Las Vegas just about a little over a month ago was this gentleman, John Addison. And John wrote this book called Real Leadership. LifeVantage sent it to the elites for Christmas. 9 simple practices for leading and living with purpose. And it's kind of funny. I was talking with one of my distributors today. She's been kind of reading and researching and really just diving in. And she said, you know, what's really cool is that when you put almost every nutrition company in jeopardy, and it's kind of funny. I put on Facebook today, I asked, and those of you guys know me, I have about 4,000 friends on Facebook just because of my years in the fitness and nutrition industry. And I put a quote on there and I said, how many of you take products that have patents, 6, not 1, but 6, make a comment about the product, not the ingredients in the product. Not one person made a comment. That, and I figured it out. I was telling Lisa today, I probably have about 600 to 700 of those friends of mine are people in the medical industry, cardiologists, chiropractors, nutritionists, dietitians, you name it. Not one of them made a comment about that. And so it kind of reiterated some things that I read in these 2 chapters. And so I'm just going to share real quick with you guys some things that I took out of this chapter 2. And as I said, John Addison is the editor of Success Magazine and the former CEO of Prime America, which is a network marketing company. He said, this is a quote from Ronald Reagan. Guys, Ronald Reagan, to me and my family, was one of the best presidents we ever had. There's no limit to the amount of good you can do if you don't care who gets the credit. I don't know, I spelled that wrong. Right. Okay, good. Okay, I didn't. A business is a community, not a hobby. And I really like this. Guys, I was in a group of people out in Vegas right after Skip Campbell talked, and Jeff Roberti, who has made over $100 million in the network marketing industry, said to Skip, he said, hey, is it really true about LifeVantage that all of your master distributors are on the same page and you teach the same things? And Skip said, yeah, why? Isn't like that at your company? And those of you who know, Jeff is with Juice Plus, which has been around for probably 25 or 30 years. And he said, no, the only time the leaders of my company talk is when we shake hands with each other at an event. And guys, I hear that from every company. And thank God for Darren Jensen unifying our leadership. So besides having the greatest products in the industry, we have the greatest leadership in the industry. So guys, be excited about that, because if you hear the stories about how that goes on in other companies, it's just not a good situation. So a company on a mission, okay? LifeVantage mission is to transform the history of health and wellness. And guys, not only is that our mission, but that's what several of these companies that have studied our technology have said about this technology that we have. Many people make people feel important because they are. One of my goals in 2017 was to never make it about me. Never catching myself if I say I or we. A good speaker talks at you. A great communicator speaks to you. I've learned this by working with kids just the last couple of months. I was saying this before I got on the call with some other people, is that I've been doing research on the track program at the school I'm at, and they used to have a great program, I think between 7 and 8 years ago. And about 5 years ago, the coach left to go to a brand new high school that opened. And they started having coaches that really weren't meant to be coaches. And so last year they finished last in the conference. And this year, just encouraging the kids, and I'm going to talk more about that in the next coming slides, but just encouraging the kids, telling them you appreciate them. You don't know a lot about what's going on in their personal life. It's about relationships. As you see, it's about a community. And I told the athletic director that I came there to build a community. I sat at a table tonight with the new basketball coach and the new football coach, and they've asked me to be a part of their programs too, to work with some of their kids and it is. She hired 9 new coaches, and we're creating a community. The next thing says, it doesn't take much to shine your light to others. People need this more than anything, okay? Leaders work to make others better. Real leadership is about building other people and shining the light on them and not yourself. Real leadership is about building other people and shining the light on them, not yourself. I love that. I heard my wife say amen in the background. Build your LifeVantage business by never quitting on people. I don't care how many people of your friends have told you no. The last 5 people we've signed up told us no 4 or 5 years ago. Okay? You never give up on people. This is too important. I say this all the time. This is happening with or without us. You just have to decide if it's going to be with you. And John talked about Art Williams was his mentor. Art was an investor in real estate, had an insurance company, and he was an author. And he said the best book Art ever wrote was called Pushing Up People. And if you guys just think about the title, and then he talked about that in the next couple things. He said, when things are bad, own up to it. When things are good, share the credit with others. Never use I or me. Never take credit. Always share the credit. I thought that was awesome. He said, real leadership is the kind of leadership that not only works, but has a lasting impact. You are here to work for your team and not the other way around. Wow, that really hit home. You're here to work for your team and not the other way around. And most types of things that we go through, that's never the case. A mediocre leader tries to impress people with how important he or she is. And I think a lot of people are guilty of that. Yesterday you have to take a course on coaching. It's kind of funny. Jessica Perez, who is a Pro 4, and if those of you who were on Brandon's monthly Team True Blue call last week, you saw Jessica on there, and she works for this company of the class that we had to take. And the guy teaching said, who has made the most lasting, the most impressionable impact on your life? And I basically came up with 2 people, but everybody had been saying, their mother, their father, their grandmother, and I said my wife. And one of the things that I said about Lisa is that she always sees the best in people, no matter what. And she never gossips. She just encourages and tries to pull out the best in people. And I think that that's good as a leader, that you always see the best in people. Okay, and then the last couple things I wanted to share. People will be willing to do more and accomplish more when they feel important and recognized. And then he used an example: you can't grow plants with only giving them light once. Recognize people often and over. I've set up a texting app for the kids that I'm coaching, and I send them encouraging messages. I send them after practice. If certain ones of them have had a great practice, I message them and tell them, hey, great practice, you're making progress. And it creates that community that you guys heard me talk about earlier. Guys, this is a business. We're involved in a business. And I've always said this, we have to treat it like a business. And so if you have a pencil and a piece of paper, I want to give you guys some goals and some action steps to take this week. Okay, make a list of 3 to 5 simple things you can do in your LifeVantage business to build others up and shine your light on them. Every day, pick one of these actions and put it into practice. And what I want you to do, what I want to do to finish up tonight is that I would like to just see if anybody would like to do this. And if nobody wants to do it, that's fine. I'll end the call with some things I want to do. But if you can unmute yourself and list maybe one thing that you would like to do going forward to build others up and shine your light on them. And just, if you want to, just somebody just unmute their line and go. If everybody's too shy, then I'll finish with what I want. Does anybody have one or two simple action things that they can do to build others up and shine their light on them? Anybody?
Michael, can you hear me?
Progress.
Hey, Janice, go ahead. Go ahead, Janice. You go first.
Well, I think the easiest thing to be intentional about is to make a list of every person that we have brought into LifeVantage. In terms of our team, I mean, some of us have very small teams, so we could actually look at our customers and put down on that list, write it down, one thing about that person that you really appreciate about them. Something about them that has stood out to you. You know, think about when we did the invite. What was the compliment that we paid? And then be intentional this week about just sharing with them, you know what, this is one thing that I just really appreciate about you.
Absolutely. And that's great, Janice, to even take this a step further and look at things that you really can do to showing people how much you appreciate them, and then giving yourself things that you can do to let them know how much you appreciate them. That's great. Anybody else?
Progress is perfection.
Awesome. That's good, Q. Anybody else want to make a suggestion of how to build others up? And I'll share one. I kind of said this earlier about people on my team. What I'm setting up, and I'm going to launch it here in the next week or so, is just connecting with people on my team. And as Janice said, I've got a pretty big team now and growing, but also going back to people that I have shared with that have shown an interest and encouraging them, building a relationship with them. I've got a list of probably 30 or 40 people that have told me they're interested still, but just haven't made that mark. And so those of you who know me, I spend a lot of time in prayer, and I just feel that there's things that we can do to make other people feel important. You know, if I looked at all of the people that really need to hear this information, one of the things I'm going to do is people that don't join these calls on Thursday is that I'm going to send them a copy of this recording and just encourage them to listen to it and let them know that pick some things out that really encourage me about them, and let them know that I believe there's some things that they'll be able to use to encourage other people. Let me take one more person. Maybe somebody else can say something. Anybody else want to say something?
Hey, Mike. Chris.
Hey, Chris, go ahead. Was there a girl's voice? Was it Linda? Was it you?
It was Paula. I'm going to let Chris go first because he's my upline.
Okay, go ahead, Chris. Go ahead.
Paula, you should go first. Ladies before gentlemen.
All right, go ahead.
Anyways, I'm
Chris.
glad Q is on this call because I think he should be recognized just for the persistence and the hard work and the action he took to make a launch call every single Monday, and the way he invited and got people on the calls. The desire and the push and the want that I've seen from him, and the change that I've seen since I met him the first time, this kid is clearly becoming a leader, and he's going to be on stage before he knows it.
Man,
just by the way he keeps moving. And I just wanted to give a shout out to Q because
good job.
I appreciate his hard work.
Me too.
Tremendously.
Me too. Congratulations, Q. I'm proud of you. We need about 10 more. All right, Paula, go ahead, my friend.
Well, Chris just gave us an example of what I was going to say, which is I think one of the best ways to encourage people is to make a specific comment about something that you appreciate about them, and then tell a story or, point to a specific example of what they do that demonstrates that quality about them. So Chris just did that. He said, Q's rocking it. And so that's like, he's showing Q his affirmation of his energy and his drive. And then he gave a specific. Q has a launch call every Monday. So that, I think, is a great model of how to edify people on your team.
Absolutely. And one of the things that It's kind of funny now. I see Calvin there typing, "What up, my brother?" And homie, is that the relationships that we get to build with people in this business. Like, Calvin and I are brothers from another mother, and we get to, every once in a while, just whether it's 3, 4, 5 times a month or once a week, him and I'll text each other just to say, "Hey, what's up? How you doing?" Bring encouragement. I think that that's the most important thing there's several components that keep people engaged in this business. Chris and I talk about this every time. I've never really understood why somebody would entertain another opportunity unless it was for money. And this longevity of LifeVantage and Calvin can tell you. Calvin, unmute your mic and tell people how big it is to have John Maxwell speaking at our LifeVantage convention real quick, because I saw you on there.
Yes. How's everybody doing tonight? Appreciate you having me on there, Mike. Knowing that John Maxwell is the foremost leader in leadership when it comes down to, to who's the man when it comes down to leadership. He's the person. And we're talking about not only being leaders ourselves, but learning how to build other leaders around us, and not just teaching people to become distributors and this and that, but teaching them to be leaders in life in their circle of folk. So one thing I know I do, and Mike as well, and many of you, is pray for divine connections for individuals that you can touch more than just the business, but touch their life, touch generations of people around them, where there's a ripple effect of what we have in hope and helping people along the way. So I just know we have something, amazing. I wouldn't be in this business if it wasn't for the connections from Mike. My roller, awesome lady, but she realized that she didn't speak my language when it comes down to health and nutrition and fitness, and she connected Mike and I, and he's been a mentor and just a brother in Christ the whole way. And we have we have these connections of folks that are more concerned with not just the business side of it, but the life side of it, and making sure that we're, our families are being taken care of. We're balancing this thing out, and just, so we're in it for the long haul. This is not just a short-term deal. These are the people that are here in LifeVantage that I want to spend the rest of my life with, and my kids to learn from and grow from. So I appreciate it, brother.
No, thanks for sharing. Guys, last thing, and we'll go 2 minutes left. I put this shirt on tonight, the Freedom 5, because it goes back to why I think people are successful. When I look at people that are on these calls, most of them are a part of this Freedom 5. It should be your first goal in LifeVantage, and that's to get 5 personal distributors and then teach them to have a $200 a month auto ship. Now, let me just tell you, Lisa and I laugh at a $200 a month auto ship just because I spend $200 a month on Axio. Okay. And so, and by the way, if you don't give it to kids and let them try it, you're crazy, because I've already had some preferred customers from high school kids. So, that just love this stuff. So think about everything that you guys have learned tonight. Thanks for everybody being on this call. I will post it. I've recorded it. Guys, I'm grateful for everything, every single one of you guys. I pray for you guys all the time. This year of 2017, I think, is going to be the best year in the history of LifeVantage. I think people that you guys have been looking for, and Calvin said it, divine appointments and people coming in. Lisa and I have been about that. And I just want you guys to be encouraged by these calls, and I'm gonna keep. We're gonna have them every Thursday. So God bless you all. Thank you guys for being on tonight, and thanks for those of you, Janice, Chris, Paula, Calvin, for sharing a little bit. But guys, you guys are awesome. I'm honored and privileged. Speaking of that shirt, Calvin, I'm sending you your shirt tomorrow. I packaged it up and totally forgot to send it to you, but you owe me $25. God bless you all. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Bye, Marie.